Good morning, guys. So my name is Shripal Jain. I am a qualified chartered accountant and a US CPA. So before kind of introducing to Sudha, so I just wanted to take up a 15 to 20 minutes an orientation session on CIA about what is the course all about and what are the various things which are covered. So I will kind of take first 15 to 20 minutes on just to explain. Won't take much time in that, and so that we can straight away start with part one today. So any questions are there, please put up in the webinar chat so that we can pick up the questions from there and then kind of answer it accordingly. Quickly about me, I have been heading one of the co-founders for Simandar Education. Right, we have been doing a lot of stuff with the corporates and all. We are also tied up with AIG. As you know, we have a lot of folks today from AIG as well for the CIA. So apart from that, we are also tied up with Synchrony, Citron, Deloitte, KPMG, EY. We have been working with various corporates. We are also tied up with BDO and are doing the diploma IFRS course, right, whereby the video partners come in and kind of explain the courses as well. And apart from that, I have been a frequent speaker at ICI and IIMs and have been recently awarded as the best entrepreneur for Telangana region. So not much to talk about me. So I'll just go on back to CIA exam eligibility. So as you see that, though I have been, I have come to AIG and kind of explained the eligibility requirements also on CIA. I'm just talking again on this particular front. So guys, as you know that if you are having an associate degree, I repeat again because there are some other students also who have joined in the session. The eligibility requirement with CIA is very straightforward. Even if you are not a graduate, you can still write the CIA exam. But again, once you complete the CIA exam, you will need to do a 7 year of work experience in order to get the CIA qualification. So there are experience requirements. Once you kind of, if you're not having a BCom, there is a years of work experience which is required. If you have a BCom, you need a 2 years of post-qualification experience in order to get the CIA qualification. If you are already a chartered accountant or that is considered, the articleship experience is considered in that work experience and it will be counted as good as the work experience of internal audit. So your chartered accountant or your supervisor or on a firm under which you are doing your work, that will be counted as an relevant work experience. That is something you will need to take a note of. And then the full-time students, if you are having a graduate, then again there are a requirement that a candidate with a 4-year postgraduate, if you're a graduate, you need a certain amount of experience. If you're a postgraduate MCom, the experience gets substituted with 12 months only instead of 24 months. So if you're having a master's degree, then you need only a 12 months experience in order to get the CIA certificate. Having said that, you can still write the CIA exam. No one is stopping you. Even if you're having an associate degree, you can still write the CIA exam, but you will not get the certificate. That is very important point to note down. Again, sir, is certificate really important as such? Definitely it is important because that will kind of show to the employer as well. You can still do the CIA exam and show the congratulatory letter to the employers and get the job. But having said that, it is important that you get the CIA certificate also, because end of the day, you're looking for the certificate only. So that is very important. So that is about the exam eligibility. And then what are the required documents which are there, which Hiteja from my team would help you out. A proof of identification in a form of official passport or national ID, which can be a driving license as such. It is important that you have the passport because these exams are written in Prometric and passport is very important proof. Right now till August, I think Hiteja, you can correct, I think July or August, the exams can be written at home itself. You have a remote exams. You should just install the software. I think Hiteja from my team will guide you on that and you can write the exams at home. Hiteja, can you correct on that? It is till August or it is till July?
It is till July end, sir, July 30th.
Okay, correction, it is till July end, whereby you can sit and kind of, so at least I expect that even part 1 you can write at the remote exams, if not part 2 or part 3, because you might end up part 1 by the time in June end or July first week. I think Sudha would be the best person to kind of talk on that. So you can study with Sudha accordingly and then kind of write the exam somewhere around July end also. So there is a fair possibility you can write one part at least by July end in this remote exams and take this opportunity. So again, a proof of education is important, a candidate's degree or transcripts that you will need to submit, and again a character reference form which should be completed and signed by an active IIA certified individual. Please note guys, we also have one of our industry leaders who would come next week on 30th, who's heading the Infosys internal audit department. So she will be coming and talking on the CIA qualification also. Bhavya, I think a lot of them might have already got in the WhatsApp about our session, which will be conducted next week. So whereby I think Bhavna would be the better person to talk about this also, because she is also an active member and she is also the board member here at the Bangalore, right? So please don't miss that session. That also will have a lot of visibility on the CIA front. Again, as I have said, that once you become the member of the CIA, so what is CIA Certified Internal Audit, which is being given by the Institute of Internal Audit of US. So we have also a tie-up with the Institute of Internal Auditor of India, IIA, right? Once you kind of take the membership of that, so your fees for the CIA exam drastically goes down. If you see there, if you're a member of IIA, if you have taken a membership with the IIA of India chapter, the fees from $395 straight away goes to $209. From $345 it goes to $173. From $345 it goes to $173. So you're talking somewhere around what, $580 to $600. So almost like 40,000 INR or 45,000 INR is the overall fees for the CIA stuff, if you are taking the membership with the IIA India. So this is a very, very important thing, guys. The membership also will help you out in getting the IIA India membership, so that you can get the reduced fees for the CIA certification, right? So this is the special price provided only if you are a member of IIA India. The membership of IIA India is somewhere around 5,500 to 6,500 range. So you can definitely register with the IIA India and get the reduced pricing advantage because of our tie-up with CIA US and IIA India. I hope this is also very clear. So now, where is the CIA exam conducted? Typically they were conducted in Prometric. Now that we had remote kind of exams which are being conducted in July end, as informed by Hiteja. So previous to that, we used to conduct that in the Prometric Center. So these are some of the things which you'll need to take: the original identification card and the appointment confirmation letter after July. If you are going to the Prometric, these are certain things which you'll need to be careful on, right? Now, what are the CIA exam changes? So as you see, we are now taking the latest 2020 stuff which is coming up. So we are following the Wiley material, and all the materials are updated with 2020. So which is a current update which we are having. So as you know, the CIA exam changes keeps happening every year and all, and we are very much careful on that. And all the materials which are there with you are the latest and the updated stuff which are covered. So CIA exam again is 3 parts. So part 1, part 2 and part 3. So part 1 is composed of 125 MCQs. Part 2 is composed of 100 MCQs. Part 3 is composed of 100 MCQs. As you can see in this PPT also, right? So the test time is 2 hours, 30 minutes for part 1. For part 2 it is 2 hours. Part 3 it is 2 hours. So that is the duration, average duration which we are talking about. Please remember that you will need to complete all the 3 parts within 3 years, the ones you apply for the first part. If you don't complete all the 3 parts within 3 years, the parts which you have passed already will get lapsed. So what is the passing percentage, sir? You will need to score a minimum of 75%. But again, it is being graded on 250 to 750 points. A scaled score of 600 or higher is required to pass a CIA exam, which converts approximately to 72 to 75%. So you'll need to get minimum of 3/4 of the MCQs correct. That is how it will be graded. And again, you must remember that the test time is strict. So you can't go beyond 2 hours, 30 minutes for part 1. For part 2, it is 2 hours. For part 3, it is 2 hours. As and when we will be making you practice a lot of MCQs. So this is a completely computerized exam. It is all about multiple choice question. There is no concept of essay type questions or so, right? So part 1, we are talking about essentials of internal audit, which is the basics of all the audit, considered to be one of the easier parts in CIA exam. Part 2 is the practice of internal audit. It tests more on the concepts, on the standards. If you see there, they have added the performance standard series 2000, 2200, 2300, 2400, 2500 and 2600, and the current internal audit practices. These are the various latest stuff which have been added in the CIA exam content now, which of the 2020 syllabus. So part 1, part 2 is the conceptual, part 3 is more to do with application, the financial management and the business acumen. So this is designed to check your application skills, not more on theoretical stuff. So that's why I think part 2 and part 3 are one of the tougher things than part 1. The pass percentage of CIA is almost of around 40% is the pass percentage. So out of 100, minimum of around 40 people pass this exam. So last latest which I have seen in 2019, it was 42 to 43%. Having said that, you can still have a great opportunity of passing the CIA exam. Please be regular to the classes, come on time, right? If you are late by even 10 to 15 minutes, you will not be allowed to the classes. So we are very strict on the timing front. I hope the professionalism is maintained, right? So additional, the revised content which have come, guys. So what was the older version? We had the mandatory guidance, internal control risk, conducting internal audit engagements. But the revised latest update which have come in part 1 is the foundations of internal audit, independence and objectivity, proficiency and due professional care, quality assurance and improvement program, governance, risk management and control. This is the latest and is almost up around 35% is the content. Now, having said that, our audit have gone to completely on a risk-based audit. We are no longer doing a kind of audit which we used to test everything, but it is more on the risky areas. So now the audit which we do is more of risk-based audit, and that's where governance, risk management and control is composing of almost up around 35% of the content. You have the last component which is fraud risk. So this is the latest content which we have as per 2020 of part 1. I hope it is clear to everyone on this revised version which we have, right? So these are the things which we are covered. In part 2, if you see there, previously you had internal audit functions, individual engagements, fraud risk that have been completely removed. And now in the revised version, we have the managing, the planning, the performing. If you see the performing of the engagement have taken up 40%, we are talking more on agile audit, analytics in the audit. So these are all the stuff which we are coming up. The more latest content have come as per the as per the alignment with the IIS performance standard. If you see there, the more stress is given on the communication, because we see that there's a lot of communication gap in audit function. People know that there are deficiencies, but they are not able to communicate properly to their higher management and all. So communication is an important component of an audit function. I believe that a person should have a strong communication skills, because now you will be interacting with the technical people also. Coming back with the Power BI skills, the robotics, the bots which are coming up, it is important that you need to communicate as and when with the stakeholders. So communication have been given a lot of stress on this, and performing the engagement again is forming 40% of the exam in part 2. The older version of managing internal audit, managing individual engagements, fraud risk have all been removed. Now this is the latest content which we are seeing up. Now part 3, if you see there, guys, again, the older version was governance, risk management, which have been added to part 2 now. And IT, business continuity, financial management, global business environment have been removed, and a lot of the stress have been given to business acumen, which is made up of almost 35% of the content is being tested on the business acumen. Very, very important component. Information security, information technology, as you know, IT is a major component. That's where we see a lot of the people who have done CIA do CISA or on, right? So IT is a major component of an audit function, and that's where that important stuff is there on IT and financial management. Little bit of stuff is there on financial management, just to understand the planning and budgeting function, the costing skills, but not, but the major stuff is on the 35% component. Now, sir, if I'm a CPA or if I'm an ACCA, if you're an ACCA, you don't need to meet the work experience requirement. You don't need to meet the education requirement. By default, you can straight away write your CIE exams if you're an ACCA member. If you're a CPA, US CPA, licensed US CPA, you don't need to meet any education requirement. You just need to have 1 year of work experience and you will get the CIE degree. So that is a very important thing for the persons who are CPA and ACC. Again, for chartered accountants, the experience of articleship is also counted in the work experience requirement. So we are reachable on all these social medias: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I request you all guys to follow us on all our WhatsApp groups. Also, we are there with a lot of MCQs being tested and all, whereby we'll keep putting up the daily MCQs. We'll have the faculties coordinating with you, and there will be a strong support system in this particular journey of your CIA. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. If no questions, then I think we'll give it out to Sudha here. So 100% attendance is required, Shahnaz. Again, on an exceptions, we can dispense off with that 100% attendance of our live classes, provided we get the reason why you're not able to attend the classes, because already we have the recorded videos also. So we understand that you might be under tremendous pressure of meeting the deliverables and all. So wherever required, I request that, I know you all are matured enough and you understand that attending the classes will only bring the discipline. Your daily attendance to the classes will bring the discipline. If you're not able to attend the classes, you can always drop an email to us and all on the reason. I think we expect that kind of information to be communicated to us so that we are aware that your preparation is up to the mark. And that's how we are designing the study plan for you all also. I hope it's clear, Shahnaz. Right? Sir, how is CIA different from CFE? CFE is different. That is more on the fraud examiner stuff. CIA is completely focused on internal audit. So persons who are passionate on auditing, who want to develop their career in auditing, and internal audit is a growing function. We are seeing a lot of the frauds, investigations coming up now with these COVID things and all those sort of things, with NPAs, with, if you see in the bank audits, which we are doing in India, which we are doing all over the other places, internal audit have become such an important function. After the Enron case, I think Sudha will kind of explain you that fraud case which happened with Enron. After that, there is so much of stress as per the SOX and other requirements which we have, that internal audit is becoming a major component. That's why we also require that you have a good technical skills also apart from the auditing skills, right? Power BI, dashboards, automations, these are the very important stuff. I think Bhavna next week, please attend her sessions. She's the Infosys internal audit head. I think you will get a lot of insights from her session. Who all haven't registered, get in touch with Hiteja and she will ensure that you guys are registered in that, right? Okay, anything else, guys, before we move on to this session? If we are good to go, then I think I'll take up to Sudha. I think she will be the person now who will be talking on the content wise, and she'll be starting straight away with part 1 today. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for giving me your time. I hope you will have a great time at Samandar Education. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sudha.
Thank you, Sripal. Good morning, everybody. We should thank Sripal for such an extensive and clear explanation of the entire course. That is how it is. So, congratulations to all of you for having chosen Samandar. It is one of the best institutions so far. I'm sure you've already heard about it from your friends. So here it is our endeavor to handhold you up to the end. Okay, it is not just delivery that we concentrate on. You would be short with questions. There will be continuous follow-up, and we try to achieve on all fronts. Okay, right from registration, right from information, latest changes, to delivery of the subject, complete understanding of the subject, practice of questions, and there will be hand holding until you complete the exam. So once you've made the decision to join us, I think that's the best thing that you have done so far, because that's going to help you a lot in reaching your objective. Having said that, that is not enough. You cannot just register into Samandar and say, I'm done. This is a very challenging course. This is a nascent stage as far as this course is concerned. You're going to be ahead of all others. So you might have very less information from outside sources. I urge you to rely only on valid sources, for which Sripal is the best source. Okay, Samandar team, there is a huge team in Samandar which keeps itself updated. So please rely only on this information. Do not rely on friends and stuff like that. You can always get it, come to check. Also, the syllabus, as Sripal had just now explained, changes vastly year to year. Huge changes every year. So the material, in case you have any old material, is going to be of no use. So it is very important that you keep yourself updated and follow the latest material. There are also changes in certain standards and provisions which will be brought to you as we go ahead with the class. So let me start with the presentation immediately. Okay. Now, since this is totally a theory subject, I would want a very interactive session. Okay. So slowly it should not become a complacent session where you just switch it on and go to sleep. So while I do not urge you to go through the videos, okay, to switch on your videos, not necessary. But nevertheless, I want you to be interactive in terms of chat. Okay, either chat, how do we get to know about the changes? As far as changes in any registration process or any procedural changes are concerned, you can always contact the Simandar team. They are always updated. They are updating themselves throughout. So they will give you all the support that is required. You'll get immense support, guys. Do not worry about support factor. It is only the contribution from your side. Changes in course curriculum, I am there. I will tell you. And so will Sripal. So we always follow the latest curriculum. So when you say changes, Swati Lekha, when you say changes, I expect that you are more interested in the latest version than the earlier version. So we follow the latest version only. So there is no question of transition. There is, unless you have already given an earlier attempt, there is no question of transition from the old session to the new session. It is only the latest curriculum, latest version that we will be talking about. Yes. What is the average time frame to complete the course? As Sripal had explained, we have a time frame of 1 year within which we expect to complete the entire course. Else we'll have to redo the entire session. Okay. So accordingly, we would plan. We would be having weekend sessions now. I mean, we will leave it to the Simandar team to frame the schedule for us, and post that we'll have a roadmap in place wherein we can think about when exactly you would be able to write the exam and post that. So this will take a little bit of time for us to start running. You know, the vehicle has to start moving. It has to run, and post that we'll be able to frame a complete roadmap for you in terms of timings. Okay. So it is always ideal that you start with part 1. Why? Part 1 is basic. So unless you do the basic course, it doesn't make any sense to go to the advanced course. So yes, as was explained by Sripal, CIA exam has 3 parts. Okay. CIA part 1, essentials of internal auditing, which, as I told you, is pretty basic and pretty simple, and we are targeting at that. So we are starting with part 1, which is logical. Okay. And then CIA part 2, talking about practice of internal auditing. This will be more from the practice orientation. Okay. It is more from standard orientation. So you will have more about, it will be slightly heavier. And the third is CIA part 3, that is business knowledge on internal auditing. So that will give you a practical overview of different kinds of scenarios as well. So let's go to CIA part 1, that is essentials of internal auditing. So as Aditya and Swati had said, this is the revised version. So I have not gone into the earlier version because it doesn't matter to me. Okay. So what I am supposed to do now is your revised version, and this is the version that we are going to talk about. So now in this revised version, I have how many domains? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 domains, which was earlier about 3 or 4 domains only. There was very less in part 1, more in part 2 and part 3. Some of them have been moved to part 1, some of them have been removed and changed. Okay. So now part 1, which is relatively easier, you have more provisions. Okay. So you have 5, 6, you have 6 dimensions here. And part 2, practice of internal auditing, you have managing the internal audit activity, planning, performing the engagement, communicating the engagement, and results and monitoring process. Business, a revised version of CIA Part 3 talks about business acumen, information security, information technology, and financial management. So now let us first concentrate on our first block, that is part 1. Here if you see the 6 different dimensions, let's go to the next slide that will help you better understand. Now, what is the kind of testing done? What are we expected to know, and what will be tested, and what is the expectation from us? That is very important because we'll have to hone our skills accordingly. So CIA is expected to have current knowledge of IIA's International Professional Practice Framework, the IPPF. So you have to have current knowledge. When I say current knowledge, it means the updated version. So you have to have complete, thorough, current, updated knowledge of IPPF, that is International Professional Practices Framework. So it is not enough if we just have the name and the number. You have to know the contents as well, because in later stages you will be required to apply them. Okay. But that is more in 2 and 3, part 2 and 3, where you have to have complete thorough knowledge and apply them also. But it starts off well in part 1 itself. Be able to perform an audit engagement with minimal supervision. So you should have so much knowledge that you should be ready to perform an audit. You should be able to perform an audit engagement with less guidance. So you should be able to decide on your own how to progress with the audit in conformance with IIA's International Standards for Professional Practice of Internal Auditing. Okay. Be able to apply tools and techniques to evaluate the risks and controls. So internal auditor to apply typical tools, typical techniques which are available. So the IA techniques and tools which you will apply for what? For evaluating the risk and the controls. And apply the knowledge in business acumen, IT and management needed for internal auditing. So you should not only have the knowledge, you should be able to apply the knowledge. Now, how do you apply it? To practical scenarios that are given to you. So you should be able to first gather the knowledge, hold it, and you may not be asked direct questions all the time, right? So you might be asked practical questions. So you need to apply the knowledge in that practical scenario and answer correctly. Candidates are tested on exam concepts at one of the 2 cognitive levels, that is basic level and proficient level. What do you mean by this? For some aspects, it is sufficient if you have basic level of knowledge. But in some aspects, you should have proficient knowledge. So what is the difference? Let me explain here. Candidates retrieve relevant knowledge from memory recall, that is all. Okay, so or demonstrate basic comprehension of the concepts or processes. So you have understood it and you are recalling it from the memory. Itna bas hai for basic. But for proficiency, you should be able to apply. You should be able to apply what? Standards, procedures, concepts, tools, and techniques, and you should be able to analyze and evaluate and decide and use your judgment here. So that is your proficiency level. So in the next slide, I'm going to tell you about what are the areas in which basic level knowledge is required, what are the areas in which proficient knowledge is required. Am I clear so far, guys? Yeah, great. So let's look at the 6 domains in part 1 of knowledge. part 1. That is level of knowledge expected in the 6 domains. So as we already understood that there are 6 domains in part 1. So 6 sections or 6 parts in part 1. Okay. So in this 6 domains, what is the level of knowledge that is expected by us? To interpret the IIA's mission of internal audit, definition of internal auditing, core principles for professional practice of internal auditing, and the purpose, authority and responsibility of internal audit activity. Matlab, basics of internal auditing, you should have proficient knowledge. Requirements of an internal auditor and charter, you should have basic knowledge. Basic knowledge is sufficient. Interpret the difference between assurance and consulting, proficiency. Demonstrate conformance with IIA Code of Ethics. Important or not important? Extremely important. So proficient knowledge is required. So this is, so if you see, except for this, proficiency is required in every area. Let us also look at the weightage. Okay. Foundations of internal auditing, 15% weightage. Independence and objectivity, again 15%. You can never ever underestimate the importance of independence and objectivity. It is very important, crucial, both in external audit as well as internal audit. So do not take independence lightly in an internal audit. Do not think, after all, it's internal audit, so I can reduce on independence. We'll do more about that. Proficiency and due professional care. How the auditor should exercise, should not be negligent, should use his skills, should be alert all the time. So due professional care, how it should be exercised. What is professional skepticism? Is he required to use it in internal audit also? All these areas are going to take in 18% of weightage. Okay. And only 7% for quality assurance and improvement program. And that too all basic knowledge only. Governance, risk management and control is going to give you 35%. Because you have 3 huge topics: governance, risk management and control. 3 huge topics which is going to give you 35%. I hope it all totals up. No, 6 is still to come. Okay. Now, how is the exam pattern going to be? Part 1 already discussed. Sripal had put it in front of you. Part 1, 125 multiple choice questions. Time given 2 hours and 30 minutes. Part 200 and 2 hours. Part 300 and 2 hours. So what you understand is, all that you have is multiple choice questions only. Okay. Wherein part 1, you have more MCQs. So we'll have to do a lot of practice of MCQs. Now let's move. So until here, we had the exam pattern. We understood the basic exam pattern. Now let us go into the topic. First, let's talk about the professional standards. So we are going into the subject now. We're talking about professional standards. How much knowledge do you require? You require 100% knowledge on these professional standards. And what are these standards that you're talking about? International Professional Practice Standards, that is IPPF of 2013 version. You cannot use the earlier versions. Knowledge of both attribute standards and performance standards are required. So these IPPF are of 2 types, guys. Attribute standards and performance standards. Performance standards, how to perform an audit. Attribute standards, basic knowledge about certain aspects. Okay. So if it is relating to a particular attribute, particular aspect, the best word I can use for attribute is aspect. So एक aspect के बारे में, if you're given the basic knowledge, that is called as attribute standard. And performance standard helps you to actually perform the audit. We have already done how many domains? 6 domains in part 1. Okay. So now we'll stop talking about part 2 and part 3 anymore. Okay, just to give you a holistic view, we talked about part 2 and part 3 also. So now that we are in part 1, let's talk about part 1, right? So in part 1, in domain 1, you have only 2 standards. What are those standards? 1000 and 1010. In 2, in 3, in 4, 5 and 6. These are the respective IPPFs that you have to be comfortable with. Okay. So, let's first talk about domain 1, which we are going to cover today, and that is 1000 and 1010. As I told you, we will not scare you in the beginning. You have pretty simple standards which you can understand very easily. Okay, so what we have done is we have simplified the standards, brought it to such a basic minimum that you will be able to understand the standard by just few points. Okay, because these are the crucial points that you need to remember about these standards. So you need not read pages and pages of every standard. Yes. So how many types of standards? 2 types of standards. What standards? Attribute standards and performance standards. So let's go to the attribute standards because that's what is required in part 1. All right. So let's go to attribute standards that is there in part 1. So the first attribute standard, what do we talk about? 1000. So we'll do that 1000. So this 1000, that is IPPF 1000, talks about purpose, authority and responsibility. So the purpose of internal audit, the authority of the internal auditor and the responsibility of the internal auditor. That is what standard number 1000 is going to talk about. Okay. The purpose, authority and responsibility of the internal audit activity must be defined in the internal audit charter. Standard number 1000 says the purpose, authority, responsibility of internal audit activity must be defined in the internal audit charter. Why do you think the purpose, authority and responsibility of an internal auditor is more important, should be discussed in more clarity than an external audit? What I'm saying is, my statement is, for an internal audit, purpose, authority, responsibility, role, scope of an audit, all this should be understood in the beginning itself, more in detail than an external or a statutory audit. Why? Why do you think it is more important? For independence and setting up an objective, says Rishi. Right. What else? Audit is scope driven, right, Aditya? When I said external audit, I said statutory audit. What do I mean by statutory audit? External audit, how it should be performed, what is its scope? Its scope is always true and fair view of the financial statements. What is there to discuss about that? Nothing. Okay, we better not discuss, we better not modify anything relating to statutory audit because it is prescribed by the statute. But internal audit is not essentially prescribed universally globally by the statute. What should be the scope is subject to the understanding between the auditor and the client. So if the client wants me to do a little more work, okay, me as an internal auditor will speak to him because he's usually my employer, right? I'm a department within him. So I will actually discuss with the client what are the challenges, what are the resources required, what is the time required, whether it is possible, and of course the fees. So these things will be discussed in the beginning itself in the case of internal auditor. Not so important in the case of statutory auditor. Reason being, it is more statute driven. statutory audit, external audit. Okay, financial statement audit is statute driven. इसमें ज्यादा modification का scope ही नहीं होता है. But in the case of an internal audit, everything is subject to what we both agree. It is not prescribed that you just have to take up and follow the law. Nahi. So, to establish the relationship with management, because it is scope driven, independence should be clarified in the beginning itself. Objective of the audit should be clarified in the beginning itself. It is not universal that the objective is always to give a true and fair view, as in the case of statutory audit. Right. So good. So that is the reason why the very first standard, basic standard, talks about purpose, authority, and responsibility. 1000. Okay. The purpose, authority, responsibility of internal audit activity must be defined in the internal audit charter. Any idea what is this internal audit charter, guys? What do you think it could be, looking at the situation? What is this internal audit charter? To establish the relationship with management, the charter which derives the audit function. Okay. So internal audit charter is one kind of a document. We'll study more about it later. It's a kind of document. It is like an appointment letter, bol sakte ho. It is like a checklist, bol sakte ho. It is like defining everything. It's like an agreement or a contract, bol sakte ho. It defines everything about the internal audit. When do you think we prepare? Which stage do we prepare internal audit charter? When should you ideally prepare an internal audit charter? In the beginning itself. We do not want any kitpit later, right? So in the beginning itself, you're going to prepare an internal audit charter which should contain clearly, what did 1000 tell us? That purpose, authority, responsibility clearly document karke likh do. Sign karo dono parties, so that in the beginning itself you are very, very clear. Similar to an engagement letter, similar to an appointment letter, similar to any contract or agreement for appointment also, and for how it should be run also. Perfect, Swati. Exactly. So this internal audit charter, IAC, has to be prepared in the beginning, should contain purpose, authority, and responsibility. Who said? Standard number 1000. Now, it should be consistent with the internal audit mission. What should be consistent? The purpose, authority, and responsibility of our audit should be consistent with our internal audit mission. Internal audit ka mission. Any other word for mission? One word which somebody used just recently, just now. Somebody recently used the right word. Mission. Mission ka dusra naam. Internal audit ka mission. Mission matlab kya? Objective. Very correct. Objective. Don't you do audit with a particular objective? Of course you do. Everything you do should be with an objective. If you're sitting here early in the morning, it's with an objective of doing something in your life, right? So, objective ke bagay to you just don't dig up holes and fill them up. So, here, your objective of internal audit के हिसाब से ही आपका purpose, authority, responsibility determine होता है. Agreed or not agreed? Whatever is your objective in doing your internal audit, the purpose, the authority, and the responsibility of the internal auditor depends upon that. If my audit objective is something different, then my authority also will go in that line. If my audit objective is more related to financial statements, or more related to operations, or more related to controls, or more risk based, उसी हिसाब से the authority, responsibility of the auditor also will change. And purpose anara, purpose means objective only. Purpose का मतलब ही है objective, है ना? तो purpose or objective is one and the same. That is based on your mission. Mission is more broad, strategic, overall idea. उसको अगर आप breakup करोगे छोटे छोटे tasks में, that will be your maybe purpose. ठीक है ना? So Purpose should be consistent with the internal audit mission. And thirdly, the chief audit executive, whom we are going to call as CAE in our future classes. Okay. So the CAE, who is CAE? The chief audit executive must periodically review the charter and present it to the senior management and board for approval. एक बार बना दिया, बना के फेंक दिया, no. Just now we said we keep updating our material. When we as students are updating our material, how can you leave the charter to Galivana? You can't prepare the charter and say, Khatam ho gaya, bana diya, finished, let me forget about it. No. If there's something changed, you'd better change it. Okay. For example, just let me give you an example. So we first decided with the management what is going to be our scope of audit, what is going to be our mission, and then based on that, we decided what is going to be the authority and the responsibility. Very good. We documented everything in the internal audit charter. Very good. Then we both signed and kept it and started doing audit in accordance with that. As we do audit, we discovered the risk is much higher. We discovered something wrong in this scenario, some big lapse in the controls. Okay, so this showed us, this alerted us that this level of audit is not sufficient. Much more emphasis is required in one particular area because I hear red beep, coo, 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 red beep in that area. So therefore, we have to dump the other areas, maybe minimize the other areas and use those resources, use that time out here. So our entire plan is changed, our scope is changed, and I want to modify my responsibility also. I want to give more responsibility in this high risk area, and because I'm going to do very less audit in the other area, please reduce my responsibility there. Because I am not God, right? I can't do audit in all areas in the limited time that you're giving me. So I say, listen, let us move the focus to this area because this area requires it's risk based, so it requires more attention. So please excuse me from doing it in other areas and please let me concentrate on this area. ये मैंने as an auditor request किया किसको, management को, and then we agreed upon redoing it. Do you agree? Do I have to change my internal audit charter or not? I can't stick to that. That एक बार मैंने बोल दिया तो उसके बाद मैं अपना ही बात नहीं सुनता हूँ. I can't do that, right? So internal audit charter has to be consistently reviewed. So whose responsibility is it to review and update it? CAE's responsibility. So the chief audit executive must periodically review the charter and present it to the senior management and board for approval. While we say CAE is primarily responsible for modifications, can he unilaterally अपने आप घर लेके जाके whitener लगा के can he change? No. So he requires the approval of the senior management and the board of directors. So he will initiate the change, but it has to be communicated and approved by the board and senior management as well. So guys, okay, what is the internal audit charter? Internal audit charter is a formal document. It's a formal document that identifies the internal audit's purpose, authority, and responsibility. So first of all, it's a formal document. It's not informal and it is not verbal. It is a formal document. It defines the internal audit's purpose, authority, and responsibility. क्यों कर रहे हैं? और इसके लिए कितना power मुझे दिया गया है? And what am I liable for? Okay, मेरे सर पे कितना liability आएगा? My responsibility. All this is defined in the charter and it must be approved by the board. So these are three aspects relating to internal audit chart. Good. So let's summarize our understanding about this. So we are now studying about which standard, performance standard or attribute standard? Attribute standard. Standard number 1000 deals with purpose, authority and responsibility. Okay. Of whom? Of the CAE, of the internal audit function. So what are the three main points that we discussed here? The purpose, authority, responsibility of the internal audit activity should be defined there in the internal audit charter. Second, it should be consistent with the mission or the objective of internal audit. Third, it should be continuously updated by CAE. And fourth, it should be approved by senior management and board. Why? Because the consensus of both the auditor, CAE, and the auditee, that is senior management and board, is required for, because it's mutual agreement, right? Internal audit is all about mutual agreement. So both their consensus is required. So any modification should be counter approved and signed by the senior management and board. Okay. So are you clear about this 1000 guys? Yes, I will be covering attribute and performance standard in detail in part 2 or part 1 also a little later. Okay. Basically, you can understand that how to perform. If it is about a particular aspect, it is attribute standard. And if it is how to perform audit, it is a performance standard. So all standards in internal audit are divided into attribute and performance standards. We need to, Shenas, we need to. If you're quoting, if you're referring, then you need to remember that as well. Okay. You need to remember the contents and you need to remember the standard and the standard name as well. But unlike in, say, domestic courses, where number and names are given more importance, in this kind of course, you will definitely have to have more emphasis on the content. So we will put in these 3 points. These 3 points are the summary points of 1000. So these 3 points are very, very important. But you also need to know where you got these 3 points from, isn't it? ऐसे ही याद है किसी standard में था, that is not relevant at all. So you should be able to say it was in 1000 that we talked about purpose, authority and responsibility. तो ये वाला चीज आपको याद होना चाहिए कि where you studied, what was the name of the standard and what were the contents of the standard. Now, let's go to the next standard. This is also an attribute standard of part 1, that is 1010. We already said in part 1 of domain 1, there are only 2 standards, 1000 and 1010. 1000 हम already पढ़ चुके, अभी 1010 पढ़ेंगे. 1010 talks about recognizing mandatory guidance in the internal audit charter. Recognizing mandatory guidance in the internal audit charter. वो ऐसे ही पढ़ोगे तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. Explanation सुनोगे तो सब समझ में आ जाएगा. Okay, so when I am creating this internal audit charter, which you already know what is this internal audit charter, एक तरह का idea आ गया है. Okay, so now you know what is your internal audit charter. So when you're creating the internal audit charter, first, what should your internal audit charter contain? We know one thing that it should contain, and that is purpose, authority, and responsibility of the internal audit function. ये तो होना ही चाहिए internal audit charter में. Purpose, authority, and responsibility. उसके अलावा, you also have to recognize the mandatory guidance in the internal audit charter. What do you mean by mandatory guidance? Guidance should be given only when I seek for it. What about mandatory guidance? Mandatory guidance is compulsorily followable guidance. something like a guidance note, something like a particular note, a standard, something that has been established for the purpose of guidance. But I have a choice not to follow that guidance? No. While the guidance helps me solve a problem, it is essential that I follow that kind of guidance only, and I do not have the right not to follow the guidance and use my own principles, methods. Okay, that is mandatory guidance. So what are the mandatory guidance in this scenario? When I'm doing the internal audit of my particular entity, what are the mandatory guidances that I am following? वो भी reference होना चाहिए. So in 1010, you should recognize mandatory guidance in the internal audit charter. तो सबसे पहले, to recognize the mandatory guidance, I should know what is the mandatory guidance, isn't it? So this first step is the CAE discusses what the mission of the internal audit and mandatory elements of the International Professional Practices Framework, IPPF, with senior management and board. So, सबसे पहले CAE. Who is CAE, guys? He is our Chief Audit Executive. He is our auditor, right? Chief Audit Executive. So, of the head of audit, right? He is the head of our audit. तो ये जो head of audit है, ये जो हमारा chief audit executive है, what should he be doing? He should be discussing these aspects. What aspects? Two aspects. With whom? With two people. So first let us see, who are these two people? Senior management and the board. उनके साथ क्या discuss करेगा? The mission of internal audit. Another word for mission we said is objective of internal audit. And secondly, the mandatory elements of the IPPF. What is IPPF? A standard. Is this standard mandatory? This term itself says some of the elements of this standard is mandatory. So the CAE in the beginning itself should discuss with the senior management and the board what? First of all, what is the mission of our audit? And secondly, what are the mandatory elements of the IPPF which are applicable to us? इससे क्या हो जाएगा? इससे clarity मिल जाएगा. Maybe the senior management and the board are able to give me other inputs or clarify or remove the galatfahmi that I had all these days. So discussion always helps. So who is going to discuss? CAE is going to discuss. With whom? With senior management and board. What is he going to discuss? Of course, he's going to discuss about the mission. He's also going to discuss the mandatory elements of IPPF. Then, after discussion, the second step is he is going to put it into the internal audit charter. So the internal audit charter must contain the core principles of professional practice and their mandatory nature. So as we are beginning to understand slowly, it is that you cannot say the entire standards or principles are optional, voluntary, not mandatory, ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते. You cannot also say that the entire standard or principle is mandatory. ऐसे भी नहीं बोल सकते. So some of it is mandatory, some of it is not mandatory. So we have to talk about the core principles of professional practice which are mandatory in nature, the code of ethics, the standards and the mission as in one above. तो पहले हमने डिस्कस कर लिया. किसने डिस्कस किया? CAE ने डिस्कस किया विद सीनियर मैनेजमेंट. क्या डिस्कस किया? मिशन और मैंडेटरी एलिमेंट्स ऑफ IPPF. अब क्या करेगा? All of them will be documented there in the internal audit charter. So what is the charter going to contain specially as per this standard? Standard 1010. उसके हिसाब से it should contain the principles of professional practice which are mandatory in nature, the code of ethics, the standards and the mission. So mission जो हमने ऊपर discuss किया, the IPPF which are mandatory in nature, Also, we are going to record the code of ethics and the standards. So these should be essentially documented in your charter. It should be documented in your internal audit charter. But always this documentation follows a discussion with the senior management and board of the CAE. Okay guys, clear? Having read these two standards, let's go to the basic definition of internal audit. Okay, so let's go to the definition of internal audit. Internal audit has been defined as an independent objective. It is an independent and objective assurance. So internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. It helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control and governance process. So इसके हम छोटे-छोटे टुकड़े बनाएंगे and we will try to understand each point separately. Okay. So internal auditing is independent. Guys, I told you, independence can never be underestimated. The importance of independence is very, very important. Okay, so much so that if there is no independence, audit ka kya matlab hai? If I tell you something about myself, is it going to be of any value? If I tell you, oh, I am such and such a person, I am an excellent faculty, I teach you this, I teach you that, main khud apna dabba mari, will you have any significance for that? No. But if another friend of yours, another student tells you, yeah, ma'am is quite good, then definitely you will have a good impression, right? So, one person tells about himself, there is no meaning, no weightage given, no qadar hi nahi karte hum usko. But if another person gives an opinion, then the value is very high. So that is what, guys? That is nothing but independence. So the person who is telling about me should not be my sister, should not be a relative, should not be somebody who is already interested in this particular audit. Kyunki then there is no meaning, because wo to waise hi bolega. Many often we say, yeah, he will say like that because he's an interested party. वो तो ऐसे ही बोलेगा. और कोई दूसरा बताएगा तो मैं सुनूं. So independence is a very, very important component in every audit. Do not underestimate and say internal audit independence kam karo nahi. That is a wrong concept. At least you as an internal auditor should emphasize the importance of independence. Through independence comes objectivity. Can anybody tell me what is objective? Some synonyms for objective, guys. Based on evidence, good, very good. But basic बता दो. ठीक है, मैं अपने words में बताती हूँ. Objective is not subjective. और objective का मतलब है not subjective. मतलब my opinion is not subjective to or does not depend upon the opinion of another. Unbiased, right? Very correct. Objective means my opinion is unbiased. It is not subject to anybody else, and of course it is based on strong evidence. So I am not basing my opinion on hearsay. Usne bola acha hai, maine bhi bola acha hai. No, I am going to check on my own and I am going to give an unbiased opinion. That is objective. So internal auditing requires independence and objectivity. Okay, independence हो गया, objective हो गया. क्या है वो? है क्या? It is an assurance. What do you mean by assurance? Giving some kind of comfort. If somebody is crying, you go and give them assurance. Don't worry. ऐसा होता है, थोड़े दिन में ठीक हो जाएगा. That is the assurance. So we are giving some kind of comfort. Here, who is crying? The entity's management requires that assurance. And who is giving that assurance? CAE is giving assurance. So does it result in kind of assurance? Yes. After the before the audit, the management was confused, was not sure of how the thing is. But after the audit, after the auditor gives his report, then he is assured. Abba, auditor is also saying it's good. Isn't it? So assurance hota hai even in an internal audit, because it gives a kind of comfort. It gives a kind of guarantee. Guarantee is a very strong word. Comfort is too mild a word. Assurance is somewhere in between. So it gives some kind of comfort, saying, don't worry, this is okay. I am reassuring this. So that is the assurance. And consulting activity here comes. Okay. Consulting matlab always involves question and answer. So I ask you something and you tell me, that is consulting. If I tell you on my own, that is lecture. Okay. Without your asking, if I go on telling unilaterally, that is not consulting. Consulting is when you ask. Okay. So here, this is very important, guys, consulting, though it is not marked in red. Okay. So internal audit is independent, objective, assurance, but it is not just assurance, it is also a consulting activity. Why do you say consulting? I wouldn't say this in external audit. Why? In consulting, I'm going to give you some suggestions also. It is not just fault finding activity, guys. I'm not like a mother-in-law going to complain. ये ठीक नहीं करती, वो ठीक नहीं है, late से उठती है, खाना ठीक से नहीं बनाती. I'm not just giving you a list of complaints. No. I'm also going to give you, okay, if this is the problem, why don't you do this way? So it is a consulting activity. Okay. And also, when you obtain expertise of another person is consulting, right? So either who is that expertise? Internal auditor is the expertise. And what is the kind of expertise he is going to share? Because he is not as much as an outsider like an external auditor. External auditor अपने report के अलावा कुछ बात नहीं करेगा. He will give an opinion, favorable, unfavorable, modified, unmodified. उसके बाद वो दिखेगा भी नहीं. He'll just throw it on the table and leave. But internal auditor, हमारा अपना है. He is going to be there always. He is more sympathetic, more helpful, more present always. He is not a one-time experience. Okay. So this internal auditor is going to give you a consulting activity also. Okay. Fine. So fine. Independent, objective, assurance, and consulting activity. It is designed to add value. Why do you do statutory audit? Don't think I've come here to do bashing of statutory audit. I teach statutory audit also. So what I'm saying is, what is the, but we try to find the differences, right? So if you are able to understand the differences, it becomes or fit बैठता or clarity आ जाता है. Okay. So it is independent, objective, assurance and consulting activity designed to add value. How do you say it adds value? Again, I told you that internal audit ka objective is not just to give an opinion, sahi hai nahi hai. Does he add more value to it? No. Whereas internal auditor is there constantly. Regulatory requirement, very correct, Guha. Okay, so he is just there to give an opinion and leave, because he was asked by law to give an opinion in this particular format. He'll take out a printout of that format and sign. That is the amount of involvement of a statutory auditor. I'm not doing statutory auditor bashing out here. I'm not come here to criticize statutory audit, each in its own. One cannot take the place of other, and both are essential. But still, to contrast between statutory and internal audit gives value add. वो है, he has been hired by the management to help improve certain aspects about the entity. So value add कहाँ मिलता है? इंटरनल ऑडिट में मिलता है। ये वर्ड वैल्यू एड, ये वर्ड कंसल्टिंग एक्टिविटी आपको मिलेगा ही नहीं इन स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट। एंड improve the organization's operations. Another word which I would like to highlight here is the word operations. Okay, so we are talking about financial statements or day-to-day activity of the organization. In internal audit, are you talking about financial statements or activities of the organization? Activities, day-to-day activities. Now, if it is activities, is it production activity, or is it marketing activity, or is it financial activity? Everything. So you're going to talk about the processes in the entity, and of course, are you going to include the financial processes also? Yes. You're going to include the financial process and other processes as well. So you're trying to improve the process and therefore add value to the entity. It helps an organization accomplish its objective. Itna sab kuch karoge, you will add value, you will improve the organization's operations, and you will give consulting service, find out where it is going wrong and give advice. So kya ho jayega? The organization will be able to achieve its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach. That you have to understand, guys, that internal audit is not a jungly approach. People don't go get in and check whatever they want. It is a systematic, pre-planned, disciplined, orderly approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance. Okay, so it is an independent objective, assurance, consulting, add value to what? And improve organization's operations, helps the organization to achieve its objectives. And what is the process involving? Systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of three things: risk management, control, and governance. We will do this in the next slide. Okay. Now, first, before we go to the next slide, the last line I want to emphasize. And what is that talking about? It's talking about internal audit is a separate department in the organization. It is also a division and it is also a function. What do you mean by department? It is a section with a manager and a head. It is a part of the organization. Division is a part of the organization. Function is one activity. For example, you have marketing activity, you have financing activity. Like that, internal audit is also one of the activities of an organization. So internal audit can be viewed as a department or a division or a function. And this is the typical definition given to us about internal audit. Ye definition humko kisne diya, guys? Who gave us this definition? The IIA. You see at the bottom, Institute of Internal Auditors. So this definition is the authentic, perfect definition which you should remember, memorize. Now, did we not say governance, risk management, control and governance process? This is the GRC. Governance, risk management and compliance. यहाँ पे गलत दिया है. It is control. It is not compliance. So governance, risk management and compliance and control. This is your GRC. Time and again, we will be talking about GRC. So GRC के ऊपर ही काम करेगा internal auditor. Okay, guys. So external auditor, if you are the external auditor, if you are a regular statutory auditor, what is it that you're going to talk about? I mean, what is it that you're working on? What is the raw material provided to you? Just pe aap kaam karoge on the financial statements. If I'm a statutory auditor, I will check the financial statement and the underlying books of accounts to check whether it is working properly or not. If you're the internal auditor, what is the raw material on which you're working? What is the basis of your activity? किस पे काम करोगे? बताओ. Process, you said process, Aditya. Systems, policies and procedures, ठीक है, right. Can you call it GRC? Can you call it GRC? Will I work on the governance, risk and controls? Yes. So internal auditor का काम पूरा किस पे चलता है? He works on the governance, whether those rules are being followed by the entity or not. Risk, is it, how risky is it? And about the controls. Governance means strategic management, business processes, policies and procedures, the words that you just now said, right? Policies and procedures आपने बोला, systems आपने बोला, processes बोला, performance management, risk management, control activities and audits. So this is the governance, risk and control cycle. So let's look at internal audit in a different way. What is internal auditing? Internal auditing helps us to evaluate and improve. Please understand, improve. Did we not talk about value add? We did. So are we going to give suggestions? Yes. Are we a consulting activity? Yes. So internal auditing helps to evaluate and improve what? The effectiveness of risk management, control and governance process. So this is what I already am comfortable with. Sorry. This is what I'm already comfortable with, and that is what my GRC. So what are we doing in internal audit? We are evaluating and improving what? The effectiveness of risk management process, control process and governance process, so that we are able to help accomplish the organization's objectives. This is a complete understanding and a very basic understanding of internal audit. So this slide, which has been prepared only for you, if you look at this, you will understand, get a complete basic picture, at least a starting point for your internal audit. Now let's talk about value add. We said value add. So we've talked about the definition. We've talked about GRC and basics of internal audit. What is the definition? Ka hi ye summary. Let's talk about the value add by internal audit. So internal audit goes on adding the value. Thoda, thoda, thoda karke, as the process moves on, the level increases. See, it increases, then it increases, then it increases. So the value goes on increasing as internal audit process moves. So jaise internal audit process घूमने लगता है, there is a value add that comes into the organization. So what is this value add? First, operation is improved. The functioning, the operation, the process is improved. Okay, operation means what? Process. वो improve हो रहा है. Improve होना value add हुआ कि नहीं? Yes. किसके वजह से improve हो रहा है? Because the internal auditor is checking the operations and trying to give a suggestion to improve it. Therefore, operation is improved. Policies are strengthened. If there is a loophole in our policy, the way we function, the rules, regulations, somebody said SOP in the chat box, right? So what are those SOPs? Standard operating procedures. So if you have a particular policy which has a loophole, that loophole will be identified by internal audit and then spoken to, discussed with the management. Management will try to improvise on that or remove the loophole and improvise and improve the policies. So the policies become strong, they improve over time and they become strengthened. Through internal audit, cost reduces. Guys, ये सब company को value add देता है कि नहीं? Are you adding value because of internal audit or not? Yes. So I hope all of you understand the meaning of value add. Kisko value add bolte ho? What is value add, guys? What do you understand by adding value? Enhance the value of something, isn't it? Saving cost, right? So if I am hiring an internal auditor or having an internal audit department, is it going to cost me or not? Yes. And the benefits that I derive from internal audit should obviously be more than the cost incurred. That is the value add. I'm trying to justify the fees that I'm receiving. That is value add. Improve the process, save cost. ये सब तरीकों से, through all this, I'm going to, tomorrow if my management asks, listen, I paid you so much this whole year. What have you given to the company? Then I will show you all these things. So these are the aspects which have added to the value of the organization. Okay. So what have we done? We have I will say, listen, I have improved your operations. Your policies have been strengthened. Your costs have decreased. Okay. Procedures are simplified. Complicated, unnecessary, time-consuming, costly processes just beating about the bush, जबकि वो simply कर दे सकते थे. Simple manner you could have completed. That was identified by whom? By the internal auditor. Auditor ने बोला, अरे भाई इतना क्यों माथा पेट? Such a simple thing. Just use the simple process. He gave such a simple process. Then everybody realized, अरे, we were such fools to keep doing such complicated processes when the same thing can be achieved in such a simple manner. And we started using the new process. Value add ke nahi? Value add. Okay. We are all saying thank you to the internal audit. Processes are streamlined. We give a particular order. We give which should come first, which should come later. How much of time should be allocated for each? Who should be doing? So we are streamlining the process. So the process should be streamlined and we end up using best practices. We end up using the best. So if there are 2-3 ways of doing a particular thing, I choose the best practice. So internal auditor does that homework. Internal auditor study kar raha hai कि which process is better. And he is using that best practice. Okay. So that is what we understand by best practice. Then morale is increased. Whose morale is increased? Employees' morale is increased. Employee knows, there is an internal auditor in the system. He is going to consistently see and improve the procedures and he is going to make life easier for me. Ye samajh ke internal auditor, the morale of the people improves and increases. Then profits are increased. Obviously, when cost is decreased, profit will increase. So profit can increase either due to reduction of cost or due to increase in revenue. Kuch bhi ho sakta hai. But nevertheless, profits will be decreased. Either by simplifying the process, by increasing the volume of output, by reducing the cost, increasing the profitability, isn't it? See, internal audit say, एक चीज का cost कम हो गया. Okay, what used to cost 12 rupees per unit has come down to 10 rupees per unit. So earlier, 12 rupees was the cost. We used to add 3 rupees profit and sell it for 15. Now the cost has come down to 10. So I have two options, guys. One is to same profit of 3 I will add to 10, make it 13 and sell it at 13. तो पहले था ऐसा कि my cost price and my profit and my selling price, ठीक है ना? Before it was like this. पहले ऐसे था. पहले my cost price was how much? 10 and my cost price was 10. I was adding a profit of 3 and selling it. No, पहले my cost price was 12 and I was adding a profit of 3 and selling it at 50. Now the internal auditor came in. he reviewed the process and said, you're incurring 12 rupees per unit waste. I will give you one smart way of doing it. Aapka cost bhi kam ho jayega, time bhi save ho jayega. And he gave me a process. Through that process, it was approved by the managing director. Through that process, the cost per unit came down to 10. Jab the cost per unit came down to 10, management has two options. The first option is profit will be 5 and I will sell it at 50. My buyer, my purchaser doesn't know that I have reduced the cost. Chup baith jao. We sell it at the same 15. So I have the same market and people continue to buy at 15 thinking it is the same product. Actually, the product is the same, but I found a smarter way. So isse kya improve ho raha hai, guys? What is increasing? Profit is increasing. Profit per unit is increasing. Number of units is the same. Demand is the same. Profit per unit is increasing. So on the whole, the profitability is increasing, overall profit. There is another option that I have. Okay. So I will keep the profit. मेरे को इतना profit नहीं चाहिए दूसरे का. Okay. I will keep the profit at 3 only. Now my cost has been reduced to 10 and I will keep the profit at 3 and I will sell it at 13. I will sell it at a lesser price. What will happen if I use the second option, guys? What will it immediately result in? Demand will increase. Perfect, Gaurav. So when I reduce the price, the demand is going to increase. So I'm going to sell more volumes. So what if my profit has not increased per unit? My profitability has not increased. But my profits will increase. See, profits is a product of number of units sold into profit per unit. So if I increase the profit per unit also, profit will increase. If I increase the number of units sold by keeping this also, so either way, it is going to be win-win. It's going to be win-win for the organization. Why? Either you increase the profitability per unit or you keep the profitability at 3 only, but you increase the profits. Why? Because as you said, demand will increase. So number of units sold will increase and therefore you have a better way of earning profits. Customer bhi khush, supplier bhi khush, employee bhi khush. Employee morale is also increased, motivated ho jata hai. Risks are controlled. Okay. So risk, when you're doing audit, it is always a risk-based approach. So you're identifying those risky areas, those areas where risk is high, and you try to control those risks. Apart from that, यही है क्या नहीं और बहुत है. Advantages of internal audit. You can use this to sell yourself to an organization, right? So what can you do? This is not the only thing. Customer is satisfied, Re Baba, you're working at improved quality or reduced price. Customer is very happy. Also, we are checking whether, you remember governance, we are checking with governance, we are checking whether rules and regulations are being followed by the entity or not. That is also one process. Are you filing tax returns on time? That is also one process. So we are checking whether the rules and regulations are being followed regularly by the entity or not. So what are you checking? You are checking statutory compliance. Again, through statutory compliance, you are avoiding interest, fines, penalties. Again, saving cost. Again, saving cost means reducing the selling price. Again, customer getting satisfied, increasing the demand. So the profitability increases, profit increases. It's a continuous cycle, guys. अच्छा ही अच्छा होते जाता है. अच्छे दिन आ गए समझो. Everything is going to go well. All that the company has to do is hire you as an internal auditor. That's all. He can forget all his worries and be very, very happy. Supply chain is strengthened. Okay, so identify those people who are going to supply goods to you, and you're able to identify what goods are required, what time it is required, from which source it is required. ये सब आपने identify कर दिया. So when you're identifying everything, your supply chain is also improved. इतना सब कुछ आपके पास है. Okay. Yeah, one more point which I know. Earnings per share. When profitability increases without further capital being introduced. Guys, internal audit rarely requires more investment. Very less investment. है सो चीज में ही improvisation देखते हैं हम लोग. We emphasize on cost control, guys. So when you're trying to get in cost control, is the equity going to increase or not going to increase? Tell me. Yes, equity is going to increase or not going to increase. What do I mean by equity? Share capital. More capital is introduced or will not be introduced? Increases. Profit increases or does not increase? Profit increases. Profit definitely increases through internal audit. But I told you, we try to ensure, Anis, that we do not increase the costs. हमारा effort यही होता है as an internal auditor कि आप profitability को बढ़ा, cost को मत बढ़ा. If you put in more money to get more money, फायदा ही क्या होगा? In internal audit, our objective is to mitigate costs while increasing the results. आप profitability बढ़ा रहे हो, but investment को नहीं बढ़ा. Got it, guys? So it is my objective. I am not saying zero increase in equity. थोड़ा बहुत increase in equity होता है, but comparatively, I am trying to increase more of profit compared to increase in equity. So if you are a shareholder in my company, you are happy about two things. One is the profit that is available to you increases. I am the company, you are the shareholder. You have already given me 100 rupees. Is 100 rupees me? Every time I return 12% dividend दे रही हूँ मैं. 12 rupees मैं आपको दे रही हूँ. 12% dividend दे रही हूँ. अभी क्या हो रहा है? Internal audit, I am getting myself done internal audit. उसके वजह से my profit is increasing by reducing cost, right, Anis? Right? I got it. By reducing the cost, we increase profit, right? So हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? Cost reduce करके profit increase कर रहे हैं. तो आप है shareholder, you are very happy. Wow, profit has increased. But for that, so 12 से हो गया वो 20. So I am returning to you 20. But for the 20, I am asking you for more capital? No. I am trying to ensure कि जो अभी capital है, जो जैसे चल रहा है, उसी में मैं cost को reduce करूँ. So my objective is to increase the profit for you and also not to increase the cost for you. You don't have to give me more money, but I will give you more returns. So you as a shareholder have a double benefit in my company. Okay, profits increase and there is no increase in investment. इससे क्या हो रहा है? EPS बढ़ रहा है. What is EPS? Anybody? What is EPS? Earnings per share. So how do you calculate this EPS? Profit divided by number of shares. है ना? EPS is total profit available to shareholders divided by number of shares. So if the profit has increased, EPS will increase. Number of shares has not increased. Further investment कुछ नहीं हुआ, तो EPS अच्छे से बढ़ता है. But if profit also increased and this also, numerator also increases, denominator also increases, then EPS may not increase. But if numerator increases, denominator remains the same, then definitely there's going to be an EPS. So shareholders, net guys, shareholders are happy or not happy? Oh, very happy with internal audit. जब आपके इतने फायदे हो गए क्या फायदे हुए हैं? Operations, policies were improved, cost is reduced, we are following the rules and regulations, statutory compliance हो गया, best practice हो गया, customer satisfied है, employee satisfied है, okay, profits increase हो गया, cost decrease हो गया, procedures simplify हो गया, process streamline हो गया. इतना सब कुछ जब हो गया, are you standing better than your competitor or not? Yes. All the time we are standing better than competitors. Okay, so value addition in internal audit happens not only through these few things but through every area. So if you want me to sum it, I will say value add and internal audit go hand in hand, which is not the case in other audits, guys. Other audits, just certification, वो certificate देके चला जाएगा, good, bad, ugly, he will tell and he will leave. But here, I'm not just leaving there. I'm sitting with you and trying to solve the problems. Or at least, even if I don't sit and physically solve the problems, I'm at least trying to give you suggestions. I'm more empathetic. More heart and soul is involved. अरे ऐसा मैंने बोल दिया, ये क्या करेगा? So I'm trying to follow up. So it's a continuous process, unlike a periodic audit which gets over at a particular point of time. But everything has a limit. So there is no value addition by internal auditor if. So in these following cases, there is going to be no value add. If the management does not accept and implement the recommendations, क्या इंटरनल ऑडिटर खुद जाके इंप्लीमेंट करेगा? नहीं. इंटरनल ऑडिटर विल ओनली रेकमेंड कि देखो बाबा, आई फाइंड दिस थिंग टू बी द इश्यू, सो आई थिंक दिस इज अ गुड आइडिया, दिस इज द सॉल्यूशन दैट आई गेव. मैनेजमेंट डिड नॉट लाइक माय आइडिया. मैनेजमेंट सेज नहीं, आपको समझ में नहीं आया, आप जो बोल रहे हो वो अप्लाई होता ही नहीं. Was there any value add then? Tell me, guys. Was there a value add? I did the entire internal audit process. I did the entire suggestions दिया, मैंने recommendations दिया. Management को पसंद नहीं. Now I'm not saying it is management's mistake and I gave good idea. I'm not saying it is my mistake. I did. कोई भी हो सकता है. Either management purposely did not follow, or I did not give the correct idea. जो भी है. This is the what they say, it is the slip between the cup and the lip. So मैंने कप को लेके आया, लिप्स तक जब तक गया, फट करके गिर गया. So आते आते मिस हो गया. So this thing can happen in the case of internal audit. Internal audit means he did the entire process, he gave the recommendation, and he gave the ideas to solve it also. But management मौके पे, last minute, final time पे, he did not use it. Entire internal audit process went waste. Next year, again I have to justify myself why I can do value add. क्योंकि last year तो value add तो आया ही नहीं, only cost was there. Followed, guys. So management, if it does not accept and implement the recommendations, then internal audit goes waste. If the management accepts the suggestions, auditor must be good. Management also should be good. I mean, management also should follow. No, I did a very good job. Management doesn't understand. He is one mondi fellow. He keeps thinking of one line only. Then also, that's why I said it is not necessarily always the mistake of the management or the auditor. It could be either. कोई भी, किसी का भी mistake हो सकता है. That's why I said it is the slip between the cup and the lip. It could be because the tea was hot. It could be because of any other factor. But it did not happen. That's then superficial audit. नया internal auditor आया, उसको कुछ भी नहीं मालूम क्या check करना है. उसने internet में check किया. There was a checklist. उसने वो checklist को download किया. He acted as though he is doing work, and finally he said audit खत्म. उसमें थोड़े superficial points थे. उस superficial points को उसने टिक मारा, खत्म. He did not really understand इस entity में क्या क्या issues है specific, and he did not make a tailor-made program. He did not have in-depth knowledge. ऊपर से, क्योंकि वो था ही fresher, उसको क्या मालूम बेचारा. Followed. So superficial audit or checklist approach. Does it give any value add? Last year, this year, check kiya. All okay kiya? Okay. So that kind of bad internal audit may be value add nahi hota hai. Management doesn't accept, tabhi value add nahi. These are only two cases. But generally, internal audit gives a lot of value add. Okay. Core principles of internal auditing. This I don't think we have the time today. Yeah, we will do this later. Let's first gather and understand what are all the things that we understood. Guys, in part 1, we are going to do 6 domains. We did about 3/4 of the first domain today. In the first domain, I already told you what are the standards required, 1000 and 1010. We did these 2 standards. These 2 standards, I'll ask you, you tell me, are in these 2 standards, which is an attribute standard, which is a performance standard? Both are attribute standards, right? Both are attribute standards. Okay. And first we went to the first one, that is 1000. What does 1000 talk about? Purpose, authority, and responsibility of the internal auditor. What does it say? First you discuss it with the management, and then it should be in line with audit mission. What your purpose, authority, and responsibility should be in line with audit mission, and then you document it. Where should you document it? In the internal audit charter. What is internal audit charter? ये भी हम समझ गए in detail. It's a formal document. It defines the internal audits. Internal audit का पूरा definition आता है. उसका क्या आता है? Purpose आता है, authority आता है, responsibility आता है, and it should be approved by the board. फिर हम गए दूसरे स्टैंडर्ड पे, that was 1010, that talks about recognizing mandatory guidelines in the internal audit charter. What did we say? All guidelines are not mandatory. Some of them are only mandatory. Those should be recognized by the auditor. How will he recognize? Through a discussion. With whom? With senior management and board. Okay. Through that discussion, jo usne identify kiya the mandatory guidelines, that should again be included. It should be included where? Again in the internal audit charter or comma, internal audit charter. What should it contain? The mission, the standards, the code of ethics, and IPPFs. Then we understood in detail the definition of internal audit given by the Institute of Internal Auditors. We said it is a separate department, division, and function. And we tried to break up each aspect. We talked about independence, we talked about objectivity, we talked about assurance and consulting activities, improve the organization's operations, add value, value add hota hai internal audit mein. It's a systematic and disciplined approach, we said. And what do we check? We said, we check the GRC, governance, risk, and isme ek mistake hai is slide mein. Please identify what is wrong in this slide. Compliance nahi. In the place of compliance, what should come? Controls should come, right? And then we said internal audit evaluates and improves the GRC. Why? So that the entity is able to achieve its objectives and mission. Should be controlled, right? Then we said value add kaise ho sakta hai? Through all these, value is being added on to the entity. But however, if these 2 things don't happen, that is, management doesn't listen and implement those recommendations, it is not convinced by those recommendations, or it fails to implement, maybe because it was lazy, maybe because it did not understand, or maybe because it was careless, whatever the reason, it did not implement, or the auditor did not do a good job. He did a superficial checklist kind of an audit. In these cases, no value add will be there. But else, the internal auditor should always make effort. Okay, he should justify his existence in the organization. If he knows what is the cost, he should at least give much more to the entity as a compensation for having hired him. He should justify his presence. This comes anywhere. Even if you are employed, you try to see that you become inevitable for the organization. So you try to do so much work that you justify your presence there. Okay, guys. So that was about value addition by internal audits. Okay, thank you very much for being with me. We will try to work on a mutual basis, guys, win-win, wherein I'll try to cover all aspects, especially from the exam perspective, and try to emphasize on more weightage factors as well as not skip the other areas, because here selective reading does not work. As somewhere I had written in my slide, 100% is the essence of our paper. Okay, so you have to read everything. So, and we are not in a smaller class where we say page number so and so, question number so and so. No, you have to have the basic conceptual knowledge. Pura gross knowledge aana chahiye. Can you ever say anything that is given in the question? Are ye to mere syllabus mein nahi tha. Hello, you're not in 10th class or 7th class. Okay, this is not in syllabus. You have to have an idea about anything relating to internal audit. But of course, relating to internal audit broadly according to the chapters. इतना भयानक नहीं है, but at the same time, page number so and so में नहीं था, इस chapter में नहीं था, फिर भी आपको समझना होगा. So try to gather as much knowledge, overall knowledge as possible, especially in relation to standards. So try to gather good knowledge on standards, but Wiley is good enough. Wiley material which we are going through is good enough. That and the slide presentation, I'll try to do everything through slides. Very rarely do I just depict the textbook there and show you the textbook, because I know the textbook is already there with you. So I'll try to give it a different approach, so that when you go back and study, you're able to compare two different things. So that makes it more interesting. If I read out the same thing for you and you also read the same thing at home, then it's going to be pretty monotonous. You don't even feel like reading. Okay, so I don't have to tell you at your level that follow-up is extremely important. Day-to-day revision is very important. Do not read, do not procrastinate. Do not postpone things and think पूरा होने के बाद मैं पूरा पाठ बने की बार पढ़ूंगा. ऐसा कभी वो दिन आएगा ही नहीं. Okay. So since today we have started it, we have put our baby steps. So you also put your baby steps. You also see what are the things that we have covered. So what are the things we can go ahead. Okay. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for being such a participating audience. Look forward to meeting you next weekend. Have a good week, guys. See you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.